even though that we have Burns to Thompson and obviously the main event, Conor and Poirier, there's one more highlight fight that people are talking about, but I don't know if it's for a good reason. Sean O'Malley versus a promotional newcomer, and please forgive me for mispronouncing the gentleman's last name, but it's Kris Moutinho. And once again, I apologize for ruining the guy's last name. But he's definitely never fought in the UFC before. He's fought in, local, regional, lesser promotions. And for some reason, Sean O'Malley had all these bantamweights calling him out that fought in the UFC already. And for some reason, the UFC went ahead and signed a guy who's being brought in to do the job. So I look at it as like Sean O'Malley is becoming a glorified can crusher, kind of like somebody else we know in Bellator. I expect for him to knock this guy out in the first or second round just because it's not even a competition. If Sean O'Malley doesn't put this guy away fast, I think it just goes to show, hey, he's not going to last in the top 5 of bantamweights.
I blame Sean O'Malley for this, man. Only because, if I was him, I'd be like, hey, look, I can fight somebody else in the division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's weird because, this guy, I'm not sure as to how, in the organizations he's fought in, I can't say I see anybody who's necessarily notable to me. But what I will say is that it's odd because he is, it's almost like he's the negative version of Sean O'Malley. He has the same tattoo placement on his chest. He also has colorful hair. You know what I mean? It's just kind of odd that they found somebody.
His opponent?
Yes, his opponent.
I gotta see this.
No, look it up. It's weird. When I saw them, I was like, oh, they took a carbon copy clone of him and just said, hey, you're gonna fight this guy. Maybe if he beats Sean O'Malley, he can take his place in UFC. To swap him out.
Who knows? This
What they
might
call
be
it when they did it with Scorpion and Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat? Palo swaps.
Oh yeah, palo swaps.
Pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy, man.
Just look at it. You'll see.
Oh, wow.
See?
Yeah.
Same
Was I lying?
tattoo. Nah. That's kind of... Oh, he dyed his hair. This is weird. This is very weird.
They found him. And that's who he's fighting. I agree with Lau as far as the can crushing as well. He could have fought Dominic for all that.
Either it says a lot on him or it says a lot on the UFC.
Exactly.
Right? And either it says a lot on him where, like you said, he's choosing to pick a lesser than opponent and hoping that it's going to, while also hoping that he can climb up the ranks still, which would make no sense. Or it's the organizations dropped the ball by mismatching him with somebody, and more than likely, unless they're believing I think there's hype behind him, let's just bring this new kid in and see what he can do. And I don't even think that's the case. I think they're feeding someone to him, and it's it makes no sense now. Then the sad part is if O'Malley goes out here and gets knocked out, flushed. I'm not gonna say it's all over because he's young. He still has a chance to rebound and have a successful career. But it's this is not the right direction you want to have your career go in when you're fighting someone no one's familiar with, no one that's in the top 5. You're fighting it's pretty much as Lau would say, a jobber, someone that, hey, can you get off that ladder real quick? I got a fight for you. If you don't mind, can you fight this dude next week? That's kind of that's the feeling that this gives.
And no knock to jobbers, right? Jobbers, they're important to combat sports and stuff like that because, and I know it's going to sound fucked up, but here's why they're important. They're important to help build prospects or people making their debuts or aspiring contenders and future world champions, right? Sean O'Malley, this guy, hey man, you're not a prospect anymore. It's time for you to start fighting top 10 guys. Or fighting guys who used to be top 10 and they're solid veterans. You're fighting this guy who was never even thought of being brought in a promotion until I think he was fighting Luis Smolka originally until he fell out. And for Sean to be yeah, I'm gonna sign the dotted line to fight this. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Sean, like Nigel said, he could have been like, hey, I'm not, just get me somebody better. This doesn't look good for me. Like, just give me somebody better. Like, I don't know, man. But if that's the route he wants to take, like I said, it's like somebody else that can't crush this nonstop in Bellator.
You don't have to name no names. But
Yeah.
speaking of people who fought in Bellator, and this person might have actually fought them, if I'm not mistaken,